What's up, Steelers Nation? You can feel it. The team is working harder than ever to keep improving week after week, fighting through injuries, cleaning up execution, and finding ways to win football games. That's what this organization is built on: toughness, next man up mentality, and never backing down. So before we jump into this major update out of Pittsburgh, hit that like button if you love seeing this team fight for every inch, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our exclusive Steelers updates. Now, guys, we've got huge news coming out of the Steel City heading into Week 6, and this one's going to get every fan fired up. After a hard-fought Week 4 win overseas in Dublin, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't just walk away with a victory. They walked away banged up. Calvin Austin III left the game with a shoulder injury, and there were real fears that the wide receiver room might take a serious hit. But the good news? The latest reports say Austin's injury isn't as bad as expected. X-rays came back negative, and while the team is still being cautious, it looks like he won't be out long, if at all. That alone would have been solid news heading into the bye week, but folks, it gets much better. According to insider Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Steelers are getting ready to welcome back not one, not two, but 3 key players when they take the field again against the Cleveland Browns in Week 6. I think Joey Porter Jr. is going to be ready to go for Cleveland. I think Alex Highsmith is going to be back. I think Jaylen Warren will be back. That's right, Joey Porter Jr., Alex Highsmith, and Jaylen Warren are all trending toward a return for the next game. Let's start with the defense, because that's where things really get exciting. Cornerback Joey Porter Jr. has barely seen the field this season, dealing with a nagging hamstring issue that's kept him sidelined for all but one game. And for a defense that's prided itself on physicality and lockdown coverage, his absence has been noticeable, especially after Jalen Ramsey went down with his own hamstring injury in Week 4 against Minnesota. If Porter truly is back to full strength, he'll immediately become the top cornerback on the field. His presence can stabilize the entire secondary while Ramsey recovers. Steelers fans know exactly what kind of energy and swagger Porter brings to the defense. He's aggressive, confident, and already one of the most promising young corners in football. Then there's Alex Highsmith, who's been sidelined since Week 2 with an ankle injury. Pittsburgh's pass rush has held its own thanks to T.J. Watt being his usual dominant self. But losing Highsmith, Watt's tag team partner on the edge, has forced the defense to shuffle players around. Getting Highsmith back is massive. The Watt-Highsmith duo is one of the most dangerous in the league, and when those two are on the field together, opposing quarterbacks simply don't have time to breathe. You can bet that defensive coordinator Tara Austin is counting down the days until both are back wreaking havoc again. Now let's talk offense, and let's talk Jaylen Warren. The young running back has been electric whenever he touches the football, both as a runner and receiver. In fact, through just 4 games, Warren ranks second on the team in receiving yards with 142. That's right behind DK Metcalf, who's become the go-to guy in Pittsburgh's passing game. Warren's combination of explosiveness, vision, and versatility makes him one of the NFL's best dual-threat backs, and his absence has been felt. Kenneth Gainwell stepped up big time against the Vikings with 99 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, but everyone in Pittsburgh knows that Warren is the real spark plug in this backfield. If he's healthy and ready to go against the Browns, the Steelers' offense could finally find the balance it's been missing. Now, even with all this positive injury news, there's still a bit of uncertainty, especially at wide receiver. After Calvin Austin III went down, some fans immediately started dreaming of a trade, maybe bringing in another veteran to help DK Metcalf out. But according to Fittipaldo, don't expect that to happen anytime soon. I don't think so, not at this point. Whether people like it or not, they like Calvin Austin as a number 2 receiver. They think he can do the job. So unless he's out for weeks, I don't think you're going to see anything. So basically, no trade, no new face. The Steelers believe in the group they've got. And honestly, that tracks with how the organization operates. Pittsburgh doesn't make panic moves. They develop, they trust their guys, and they avoid throwing high draft picks away just to fill a short-term hole. Plus, Austin's shoulder x-rays came back negative, according to The Athletic's Mike DeFabio. There's real optimism he won't miss much time, which means any trade for another wide receiver would probably do more harm than good. As Fittipaldo pointed out, bringing in someone new mid-season means time to learn the playbook, build chemistry, and fit into the system. By the time that happens, Austin could already be back. You'd want to get someone who's going to draw coverage away from DK Metcalf, and I don't know if the Steelers are in a position to trade another high pick. The Steelers couldn't have asked for a better time for a bye week. 4 games in, the team is 3-1 and showing flashes of real potential, but also dealing with nagging injuries across the board. This week off gives players like Porter, Highsmith, and Warren a full window to recover without rushing back. It also gives the coaching staff a chance to refocus and refine what hasn't quite clicked yet, especially offensively. The Browns' defense is no joke. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, they're all legit. Having Warren back to balance the offense and Porter and Highsmith back to tighten the defense could make the difference in what's shaping up to be a classic AFC North battle. The Steelers' defense has been trending in the right direction lately. After a rocky start to the 2025 season, the group has improved week after week with strong showings in weeks 3 and 4 that reminded everyone why this unit is still one of the most feared in football. And at the center of that resurgence, you already know, T.J. Watt, the heartbeat of this defense, the emotional leader, and the engine that makes everything go. But apparently, not everyone around the NFL gives T.J. Watt the respect he deserves. Recently, NFL insider Jordan Schultz released a teaser clip from his interview with New York Giants edge rusher Brian Burns on the Schultz Report. During the conversation, Burns was asked to name the best pass rushers in the league right now. Seems simple, right? You'd expect to hear names like Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and of course, T.J. Watt. But here's what Burns said instead. No order, but me, I'd put Nick Bonito in there. Micah hasn't, having hella sack numbers, but when I watch his tape, he's flying off the ball. I'd put Mike on there. I'm not sure if Max got off to a slow start, but the last game he had was crazy. Who else is up there right now? Oh my God, I'm tripping. Miles, I'm tripping.
And that's it. No mention of TJ Watt. Not even a shout out. Not even a mention in passing. Burns' comments leave Steelers Nation shaking their heads. Now look, you've got to respect a player believing in himself. Confidence is part of what makes great athletes great. But let's be real here. Brian Burns has never had a season with more than 13 sacks, and his best year, 12.5 sacks, came all the way back in 2022. Meanwhile, TJ Watt, he's been a 4-time All-Pro, a former Defensive Player of the Year, and the definition of consistency. Even in 2025, Watt is off to another monster start. 6 quarterback hits, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and even an interception through just 4 games. He's not just playing well, he's leading this defense by example, constantly changing the flow of games with his instincts, speed, and relentless energy. So for Burns to rattle off a list of the best pass rushers and not even mention Watt, that's pure disrespect. And it's nothing new for Steelers fans. The constant disrespect toward TJ Watt. It's become a running theme around the league. Every time the national media or other players talk about elite pass rushers, somehow Watt's name either comes up last or not at all. And that makes zero sense. When Watt is healthy, he's arguably the most complete defensive player in football, not just a pass rusher. He dominates in the run game, forces turnovers, and impacts every single snap he's on the field. He's 4th among active sack leaders, and the 3 players ahead of him were all drafted years before he entered the league in 2017. Think about that for a second. Watt has only been in the league 8 seasons and is already among the top in career sacks. You could easily make the case that he should have 2 or even 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards by now. But time and time again, he gets overlooked. And that's what makes Burns' comments sting even more. Because if you really watch the tape, if you really study the game, there's no argument. TJ Watt belongs in every single conversation about the NFL's best defenders. Period. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. At 30 years old, Watt is still playing like a man possessed. After a late season slump in 2024 and a slow start to 2025, he's flipped the switch again. Weeks 3 and 4 were vintage Watt. Explosive, disruptive, relentless. He's not just chasing quarterbacks, he's changing games. The Steelers' defense looks completely different when Watt is on the field. His ability to draw double teams opens up space for everyone else, from Cam Hayward inside to young players like Nick Herbig on the edge. When Watt is healthy, the Steelers are dangerous. When he's not, the entire defense loses its identity. So when players like Burns forget to mention him, it just shows how underrated Watt continues to be, not just by the league, but even by his own peers. Let's run through some quick numbers that no one can argue with. 88.5 career sacks since entering the league in 2017. 4-time first-team All-Pro. 2021 Defensive Player of the Year. 7 straight seasons with at least 10 sacks when healthy. Dozens of game-changing forced fumbles and defensive touchdowns. Those are Hall of Fame numbers. Not pretty good. Not top 5. That's all-time greatness. And yet, for some reason, his name keeps getting left out of these conversations, as if what he's doing year after year is just expected, not extraordinary. That's the kind of thing that fuels Watt. He's always played with that chip on his shoulder, and comments like these, they only make him hungrier. At the end of the day, this team goes as far as TJ Watt takes them. He's the emotional tone setter, the enforcer, and the standard bearer for Pittsburgh football. Sure, the Steelers still have work to do, especially on communication and consistency, but when Watt is on the field, you always have a chance. And you can bet he's already seen those comments from Burns. You can bet he's going to take that personally. And when the Steelers face the Giants down the road, you might just see TJ make a statement that no one can ignore. So Steelers Nation, this is one of those weeks where optimism is finally back in the air. You've got Joey Porter Jr. set to return to the secondary, Alex Highsmith gearing up to rejoin TJ Watt on the edge, Jaylen Warren close to full strength, and Calvin Austin's injury looking less serious than anyone feared. This team is getting healthy at exactly the right time, and that's dangerous for everyone else in the AFC North. But I've got to ask you, which returning player do you think will make the biggest impact when the Steelers face the Browns? Joey Porter Jr., Alex Highsmith, or Jaylen Warren? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I want to hear your predictions. And if you're feeling good about how the Steelers are shaping up heading into Week 6, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Because one thing's for sure, this team is about to turn some heads in the second half of the season. Here we go, Steelers Nation. Let's get it.